In this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to recreate this image of the toy, the plastic toy, using oil pastels. So this is for the Allan Innman project. So I'm starting out with white, and all I'm doing is I'm putting all of the white areas in first, the highlights. So regardless of what colour your object is, you will have some shiny bits. So that's all I've done at the moment, is put my white bits in. The next thing I'm doing is I'm trying to identify where the lighter yellow areas are, and I'm just putting a white undercoat on to make the yellow a little bit less transparent, because yellow oil pastel is going to just show the brown paper through. So we need to put this white colour underneath to stop the colour being dull. The white will ensure that the colour is nice and bright when we put the yellow on top. So I'm quickly putting white over quite a lot of this image, because we really do want to keep the get rid of some of the brown of the paper. The only bits that I'm not actually going to cover with the white are the eyes. You'll see that I'll leave those bits. So I've done the highlights in white, and then I'm just putting a little white undercoat on my brown paper just to get rid of those bits. So the next thing you can see is I'm just going to start adding in some colour. So you'll see how by adding this yellow, the lighter yellow, and mixing it with the white, it's actually giving me a much brighter yellow than if I just used it on the brown paper. So again, just putting a coat of the lighter. I'm just putting the really light lemon yellow where I can see the really light yellow bits. And I'm going to use a different tone of yellow for the darker yellows. You'll see that in a minute. So just cleaning my pastels. I've got a darker yellow and a sort of orange yellow, and I'm just cleaning them on a paper towel because they do tend to pick up other colours. So just be careful when you're doing yours. So I'm trying to get this yellow to be quite solid. You can press quite hard with these. And I hope you can see that where the shiny bits are, I am not colouring over those little light areas that I've left, because I want to keep the white that I've put down. Okay, so now I'm trying to pick a good colour for the shadow on the ears. So it's sort of like a browny colour in the photograph. So I've picked up a greyish brown colour that's in my pack, and some light blue. And then using the white to blend those two together. So I've done a couple of layers of each of those colours, and just going back in there to make my white a bit brighter. So I'm just adding layers of colour that I can see a bit more clearly than probably you can in the video. So I'm just trying to put in the slightly darker white areas. It's not actually white, it's like a browny bluey colour, sort of grey. I'm using the scraper to take out anywhere that I've sort of like got, I've gone over the edges. Okay, so you can see I'm just blending my oil pastels. So you won't always have the perfect colour in your pack of oil pastels. So what you have to do is try to use what you know about colour mixing, and try blending colours on top of each other till you get the colour you want. Here I'm using a warmer yellow just to make the colour a bit stronger. And then you can see that on the neck of the toy it's actually quite a dark sort of grey. So I'm using one of the lighter greys first of all to put the grey tone in, going over the white bits. And again, I'm trying to avoid where I can see the white highlights. Cleaning off my white again because it's picked up all the colours. Yeah, just trying to make those highlights a little bit more bright. Now I'm putting a dark grey in, lightly, and then just going over that with a light grey to blend it out so it's a little bit more smooth. So you've got to sort of look quite carefully to see if you can recognise what colours you should use. Because if you look at the photograph of the toy, it looks like it's white and yellow, but actually look at how many colours I'm using to try and achieve a three-dimensional effect. Because if you actually look at the white on the toy, the actual toy, the photograph, it's not white. It's got lots of grey and blue in it. So to get it to look realistic, you've just got to try to match the colours exactly as they are. So now I'm going to do the eyes. The eyes are green with a white highlight, but the green again has got lots of other colours in it, so it's got lots of tones of green. So there's light green, there's a lime green, and there's dark green. So you really need to place your colours in the right place. And I don't have the right green, so you'll notice that I'm using yellow to start off with, and then I'm going to put a different green on top, and it isn't exactly the correct green, but it's the best I can do. So the eyes are darker in the corners, and then I'm layering yellow and this sort of like lime green together. And that's what's going to make the eyes look a little bit more three-dimensional. So putting the pupil in. I seem to have lost a little bit of my highlight. I'm putting that back in. So these pastels, they're not easy to work with because they're quite chunky, and even though the picture you're going to be doing is big, it is quite hard to get a neat straight edge. So sometimes you're going to have to use one of the scrapers to, you know, get the edge a little bit more neat. You see, I'm just taking out a little bit of excess. So just cleaning that up a little bit. Okay, so I've just done the other eye, and now you'll see that I'm just going to go finish off the top bit, and then I'm going to start starting to work on the body. So I'm using this sort of like warm, it's like a warm grey colour for the shadow on the body, because I can see sort of brown in there on one side, but on the other side I can see blue. So again, it's really about, if you want it to be accurate, you're just going to have to try to match the colours as best you can. Okay, and then just blending my colours together. So I've decided that I need to darken up that bit under the neck because it wasn't quite dark enough. So going back in with that sort of greyy, browny grey colour. Because you can see actually if you look at the photo it's really dark. And then deciding that I needed a bit more dimension, a bit more depth to the yellow because it was looking a little bit flat, so I added a little bit more depth of colour to that as well. And you can see how much I'm having to tweak and work into these colours to get them right. So starting to add the shading on the other bits. And now starting to add a little bit of the yellow. So I'm going to finish this off in the next video. I've just got a little bit more to do on it. And then I'm going to add the final touches and the background colour in the second video. So in the second video, we'll be deciding what colours best suit the background, remembering that we're using complementary colours. So probably going to go for pinks and purples, I would say. So that's where we've got to. I think that it's looking pretty good so far. The body still needs a little bit of work, but the head and the eyes, etc. are quite good.